It's a great book. And in my
Thank
opinion,
you.
it's not just for hairstylists. It's really anyone in a service industry who wants to build a brand behind, their person-to-person services. Hello, Charlotte. How are you?
I am fantastic. How are you?
I am fantastic. I'm so excited to dive into our interview today.
I'm excited to be here, finally.
Yeah. We've been planning it for almost a month and a half, and we've even got another collaboration coming up in July.
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome. So I've just got a little introduction here that I'll read for you for anyone who's listening. If you're listening and you don't know who Charlotte Howard is, first of all, what's wrong with you? And let's dive right into it. So Charlotte Howard is an award-winning transformational lifestyle coach. She's a #1 international best-selling author of the Success in Beauty book series, the Hairstylist Riches book series, and How to Easily Publish and Profit. She's a book publishing expert who personally published over 40 best-selling books in 13 different languages. She has been called the Information Marketing Journal an information marketing genius and featured in over 100 media outlets including ABC, NBC, and Fox. Wow, Charlotte, that is quite the resume.
Thank you. Yes, quite a lot of work behind it, though, believe me.
You earned it, yeah.
Yes.
So the first thing, let's just dive into your story. Or actually, you know what? I'm going to back up a minute. So I always start kind of our interviews with kind of like a little icebreaker, just to give everyone a personal side of Charlotte. So I read, I've just learned through you, just through being friends the last couple months here, that you are also, like myself, a movie buff, and that's one of your favorite things to do. So I want to ask you, what is your favorite movie?
Oh my gosh. I would have to say one of my favorite movies is The Pursuit of Happiness.
Yes,
I absolutely
yes.
love that. And yes, like you, I absolutely love movies. So many
Yeah.
to choose from. Love my Netflix.
Me too. I have to, sometimes I borrow other people's passwords for like HBO and Stars because like there's separate shows on different channels that I like to watch. So
Absolutely.
very cool. I think that The Pursuit of Happiness, wasn't that the first movie that Will Smith and his son Jaden Smith did together?
Yes.
Wasn't it?
Yes,
Yeah, wow.
absolutely.
That's so cool. And then the real guy, Chris Gardner, have you ever watched any of his stuff? He's also an amazing speaker.
I had a
And
chance to do that, but I definitely need to. But
yeah, you'll have to. Yeah.
yeah,
He's really
definitely, because
amazing.
I mean that movie was like so awesome. I mean, it just
Mhm.
makes you think like, what are you going to do to get to where you want to be, and what you really want in life? What How far will you go? Just
Yeah. Are you willing to do what it takes to get where you want to be? And my favorite scene is actually when he's in the bathroom, that public bathroom, sleeping for the night. And he has to hold his foot in front of the door so him and his son can have the place to sleep. And people are trying to get in the bathroom. And that's just like, wow. Like, and I think he's crying in the scene. It's just like so powerful. And then at the end, he's successful and he's made it and he's providing for his family. But just to show that transition from there to where he gets and that's a true story, which makes it even better, you know?
even more powerful. Absolutely.
Awesome. Okay, and then the next icebreaker I want to ask you is what is the most embarrassing moment you've had in your professional career?
Oh my gosh, that is so hilarious. Okay, so I was just getting out of hair school,
Hmm.
and I was, brand new, nervous, getting on the
Hmm.
floor, all these people wanting to get their hair done, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can do this. I can do this. So, so I get this little kid, right? And
Hmm.
so this little kid, he's mixing up, he's really mixing up, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I really don't want to miss and cut his ear. And he mixed
Hmm.
up. I was like, I was like, please be still. I don't want to, miss and cut you. I miss and cut my finger, and the scissors like snipped him Oh my gosh, you talk about embarrassing. And you know, it's like my first time. I'm like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? And then
Yeah.
he's like, you snapped my ear.
Oh no.
I
Oh
was
no.
like,
How
I
old
am
is the kid?
so sorry. And his mom was actually like, she told you to please be still. And
Yeah, yeah, she was on your side. Yeah.
yes, yes. But most parents, though, you know, if something like that happened, you know, they're like, "Oh my God, where's your manager?" Oh, like,
Yeah.
it was just like so hilarious. So I was like, after that moment, I was like, "What a day!"
Yeah. You started on the rough patch, and then it was all downhill from there. It was just nice and easy.
Yes, yes, but after that moment, it just made me, you know, just think like, okay, how can I make this better the next time I get a kid that's, you know, because kids are, they're like, you know,
Mhm.
it takes longer to do them too as well. So it's like, oh my gosh, like how can I make this better? So when I got home that night after working 10-hour shifts, I said, I got to figure out a way to do this better. So
Right.
then, you know, when I would get more kids, you know, in my chair, I would distract them by letting them hold my little brush, you know, that I used
Oh,
to.
sure.
So they
Yeah.
can just kind of play with it. So that's what I did.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So kind of like let's actually like go on one of the questions based on your story is you said that you like had analyzed yourself after the first day and you said like what can I do tomorrow or for the next client or the next child that I have to cut the hair of that I can improve on, that I can do better. So how did you do that from day one all the way till present day? Like is that something you do daily? Is like you just try to say what did I do yesterday or today that I can do better tomorrow?
Yes, I actually do that on a daily basis because I'm always looking for a way to improve, like customer service. Like I'm really big on customer service, especially when I was, you know, I started from as a hairstylist, but then I actually wanted to do more within the industry, so I became a salon manager, actually for multiple of the corporate salons, and I helped those salons go to six figures. But through that, I was still, you know, being a hairstylist.
Mm-hmm.
When my stylist would have different issues and things, they're like, "Get your manager," and I would understand from that standpoint. You know, not just that I'm their manager, but also there's I was, you know, I'm operating from a stylist standpoint. I I like to understand how I can also help the stylist learn from that experience, not being one of these
Awesome.
managers that's like, oh my God, you didn't do that right. I think it's so embarrassing to have a manager like come out and do that.
In front of customers or even in front of other team members.
I wouldn't want anyone doing that to me. So
Yeah.
I've always been one of those managers that everyone would always say, I don't understand how you're a manager, but still people respect you at the same time. Because,
Mhm.
you know, I was one of those managers that when we would get off work, if everyone wants to go out to eat, we would go out and hang out, get something to eat, go watch movies, invite each other over. I wasn't one of those managers to where, you know, some managers you get and they're like, ooh, she's here, you know, or he's back, you know, oh, they're not
Quick,
too much.
hide. Yeah.
So I wasn't one of those types of managers. And it's just on a daily basis, I'm always looking for a way, how can I improve better? What did I do that you know, what the situation was that maybe I could have done differently. I get feedback from the team. I get feedback from family and friends. Like you mentioned, you get feedback as well. And I
Right.
think it's important. And you know, I'm not one of these people that if I get constructive criticism, it doesn't bother me. I'm one of these people that, okay, well, I would definitely consider that and I will definitely improve upon that. I don't
Right.
hold grudges. I'm not one of those people. I'm like, life
Mhm.
is too short. I don't have time for that.
Right, right. And I think
Let's
that's
live,
approach
let's
that more people
have
take. That's awesome. So that's how you apply growth and self-improvement with your own life. How do you how do you get whether they're a stylist that's working for you, a business owner that you're consulting with, how do you instigate that process with other people? How do you get them to sit back and analyze themselves and take that same strategy for them? Like, how do you tell us like the actual like nitty gritty of like what you say to them, what questions you ask? Is it over a phone call? Does it have to be in person?
Well, sometimes it's by phone call, sometimes it's
Mm-hmm.
via video, sometimes it's in person. Um, it's just a matter of one understanding like what their overall goal is. So that's step one, finding out what their overall goal is. Like say they want to increase their income to six figures. Okay, what exactly can you do? What types of skills that you have that yes, everyone has skills, but what unique way can you present it to the people that you actually want to present it to? So,
Mm-hmm.
what exactly are they looking for? Have you done research on the different things that the different problems, different struggles, the different challenges that these people are actually having? And so that you can then provide a solution so that everyone actually wins. Your client wins and you win at the same time because you're helping people to create a total transformation. And so that's one of the things that, even though I started out as a hairstylist, I always listened carefully to what my clients and customers needs were. If they have they're like tired of their same hairstyle and they want
Right.
something new and trendy that will actually reflect their personality, because I've been listening to what they actually like and not what they don't like. I like to listen to what they like, and then we go deeper on how we can reflect their personality to help them shine bigger,
Right.
bigger and better at the same time as well. So I think it's really important to understand clearly what it is that your client or customer actually needs and actually want, not what on the other flip end what you want. It's like what
Mm-hmm.
they want, because you want to have consistent referrals coming in. You want them raving about you
That's
as
right.
well. So I think it's important to go step by step and understand what the customers and clients' goals are, what your goals are, how many hairstyles and hair blow dry haircuts, things like that you need to do to reach your overall goal and lifestyle that you actually want as well.
Mm-hmm.
Setting,
Mm-hmm.
setting, that's where I would definitely start at.
Awesome. So, and then I kind of have a question that I thought of while you were answering the last question is how do you take just somebody's likes, somebody's interests, and create a plan or create a hairstyle in your head that they would like based on their personality. So I mean, it's one thing if they come in and say, "Oh, I love this TV show. I love this actress. Here's the hairstyle I want," because then it's like right in front of you. But if you just know your customer, you just get to know them through conversation. How do you come up with a hairstylist through that?
Absolutely. That's a great question. So what I usually do, like if I'm learning about them every day and even if it's someone new, I always encourage them to look through the magazines or look on their phone and Google like different hairstyles that they actually love. And then what I do is listen to their personality, just asking the right questions. You can If you listen closely to what people are saying and when you actually see the types of styles that they actually like,
Mm-hmm.
and the color, because I think it's so creative to be able to utilize color with their
Right.
personality as well, whether it's black, whether it's blue, black, pink, purple, whatever.
Right.
To utilize their personality and also their lifestyle, because you want to make sure that the particular style that they are actually going to be having you, um, create, that is something that they can also recreate at home. And I know a lot of hairstylists going to be like, "Oh my gosh, why would I share with Dick how to fix his hair when he goes home? That means he's not going to come back to me. He's not going to get his hair cut. He's not going to do anything I say. But the thing is, it's like you want them to be able to maintain in between, and you want other people to see that Dick hair is like so amazing. Who is his stylist? Who's his barber? Whatever, so that you can get referrals. And so, you know, going through doing a personality test, even with your clients, is going to be like so crucial, because you'll get to see. Yeah, you'll get to see the things that they like, and then you can match it up with the style, and then it's like you're creating a unique style for your client. Even though you can go and you can see the same people have the same style, but it's that unique, something that's unique that you have put together for your client that's going to make it totally different, you know, for them.
Right. And when they're able to recreate it on their own at home, obviously, like you said, it's going to help them maintain that look until the next time they need it cut, styled, colored, whatever it is that you want to provide for them as a service. But when they're proud of like how it looks every day, it kind of bases on what you said. Not only will be people might ask them, but then they're also more likely just to tell people. You know what I mean? Like people, especially nowadays, like I myself am like, I'm very proud of vanity, right? Like if I look good, like, I make sure to let people know, like, hey, what do you think? I got a new haircut yesterday. You know what I mean? Like that's such a thing. Like even like you see like in sitcom movies, like you see like a husband and a wife talking, and the wife goes, did you notice something different?
Yes, absolutely.
I'm proud to show that.
Yes, and you know, it's like what I love about the industry, the beauty industry, is like we get to help people increase their confidence through their hair, but we're able to listen to them like a life coach, like a therapist. It goes like hand in hand together. It's like it goes on a bigger scale that I think a lot of professionals in the beauty industry, they miss it. They miss the fact that you are literally a doctor. I mean, you're listening, you're writing prescriptions for their hair. I mean, you're creating unique aspects for your client and your customers even that come in and get the products. So it's like so important to be able to listen and hear and understand what it is their needs are so that you can provide that solution.
That is so interesting. I love that you're drawing that metaphor of a hairstylist being like their therapist, their doctor, you know what I mean? Their best friend, that, you know what I mean? Like that's so interesting. And I want to ask you about, you said that most hairstylists, most cosmetologists are missing the boat on that. What is one thing that they can do to jump on the boat per se, to be able to have that relationship and give more than just a hairstyle to their clients?
So I would definitely say if they really want to implement, you know, everything, you know, as a hairstylist, sometimes it's hard to listen, especially if you're in corporate and you have all these different people coming in back to back. And like me, I had corporate down my back. Literally, it's like the numbers kept going up. They wanted me, they saw that I could do 20 haircuts a day plus style, blow dry. They're like, girl, come on, do more. Give me more. Yeah, exactly. So it's like in order for them to really get on the boat, it's like you want to be able to implement, and that means sometimes, you know, even not having a corporate salon, and you may be someone that's you're the owner, having a personal assistant to help with shampooing and cleansing your client's hair while you're actually doing a consult on your next client. It's like having a system in place that from the moment your client walks in the door, that you are giving them your undivided attention. And even if it's someone that's just first being there, remember, first impressions are so important. You know, when it comes to, it may be someone that it could be your competition. coming in to check you out and see how
Interesting.
you're doing, your clients and customers. Did you greet your customer or potential customer? Can I help you? That type of thing. And a lot of people, they miss it. They're like, oh, they're just coming in to look at the products. It's like, greet them, say hello, speak.
Yeah.
It makes people feel good.
Make them feel like they're welcome, and then they're more likely to come back.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So taking all of that into consideration, implementing it immediately, making sure that you listen, and educating yourself on a consistent basis. I don't care if you have your license. I mean, I still have my license. I'm not going to ever let my license go. I have
Right.
multiple licenses, as you probably know, Dick, but
Right.
I'm not going to ever let it go, because I see so many times in the industry that so many people, they let their license go, but you never know when you're going to need that license again. You may want to do some speaking engagements, and they may want you to have a cosmetologist license, and because you don't have a cosmetologist license, they don't want you to speak. But nowadays, you don't have to have a cosmetologist license to speak in the beauty industry and things like that. But things have changed since then. Back in the day, you needed to have certain things in order to really dive into the beauty industry. Even nowadays, a lot of people think that you have to go to cosmetology school to dive into certain aspects of the beauty industry, and you absolutely don't. And you can get educated at the same time as well in different areas of that you are absolutely excited about, to be able to do it. So I love helping people to do that, because a lot of times it just depends on their background and their personality and what they absolutely are passionate about.
Let's dive into what you just said. Like, people don't need necessarily a license to follow their passions. Give us a couple of examples of that.
Okay, great example. So my daughter, she is a makeup artist, and she didn't actually go to school for to become a makeup artist, but she did get advanced education on how to perfect her skills. She got certified and things like that. You don't have to have a license. You can take certification classes. If you're in wanting to get into the beauty industry, and say you're like me, you absolutely love lace wigs, you love you love that aspect of being able to transform women with different types of hairstyles, you don't need a license to become a lace wig specialist even,
Right.
as well. And so a lot of people, they don't know what they don't know. At the same time, you don't need a license to be a salon manager, even, that a lot of people don't know about. Being a personal assistant depends on the type of the type of career path you're going. You don't need to do that, to have a
Right.
license for that. To actually speak in the beauty industry, any industry, you don't need a license to do that.
Right.
It's so much that people can do. They're like leaving themselves out. But again, they don't know what they don't know, and that's why it's so important to do research and understand what you can have access to. Don't hang up your license. Don't give up on your passions and your purpose, because we all have been called to do something. It's just a matter of you taking action on that something.
I love that. I love that. And so the next, I want to kind of go off on another, dive into another part of the interview quick. I want you to kind of go into your backstory. Like, if your life was a movie and Disney bought the rights, right? And they're going to milk the franchise for all that they can. And they wanted to make a Charlotte origin story. How would that movie go? Tell us your origin story. Like, how did you get into what you are in, and tell us the path.
Well, it's a long story. I'm going to condense it as quickly as I can for you. I was actually a salon manager in corporate, working as a manager for multiple salons at the time. as a hairstylist and a beauty salon manager, working over 80 hours a week. And I kept getting people that would call out because, if you're a parent, whether you're single, married, or, it doesn't matter. It's like if you have kids, you have to be able to get off to, if they get sick. So I would have, different parents calling out because their child was sick. And I totally understand that coming from, that background. But, to make a long story short, one day I had overworked myself. And I had literally was working, like overworking myself with haircuts, and color and all of that stuff. So I had to go to the doctor myself. And it's physical labor too. Yes, absolutely. So I had to go to the doctor myself. And my doctor, when I got there, he said, Charlotte, I need you to sit down. I said, oh my gosh, what's going on? He said, you have to stop what you're doing. I said, what do you mean I need to stop what I'm doing? He said, you have to get a new profession. I was like, are you kidding me? I absolutely love what I'm doing. There's no way I'm stopping what I'm doing. So he said, if you don't stop what you're doing, you're going to cause more health problems. Right now, you are being diagnosed with carpal tunnel syndrome. So that means I'm not going to be able to utilize my hands. I kept wondering why my hands were like doing like this. And my heart literally dropped because I was behind the chair, and that was the only income I had coming in as a single mom. I'm literally like, what the heck am I going to do? And so I had to go back after the doctor told me that. I went back and I told corporate, I said, hey, I'm not going to be able to perform like I was before. I got diagnosed with carpal tunnel syndrome and I'm not going to be able to do it. So they were like, you're totally going to have to train someone else to take over your position. And I was like, that's perfectly fine. But in the meantime, I went home after getting off work. I spoke with my family, because I wanted to give feedback on what they thought. And so I went online because I'm like, oh, that means I'm taking a pay cut here. Like I'm used to this type of lifestyle. And now I'm going to have to transition and get my position taken away. So what am I going to do? So like a quick mom would think, a parent would think, okay, what can I do? I see all these people online, making money from home. I'm going to Google it. I'm going to find out how I can do the same. I got involved with different people taking advantage of me, scamming me with different work from home programs and all this other stuff, thousands and thousands of dollars. And finally, I found my coach. Her name is Ann Sieg. She's not in the beauty industry. And she was teaching everyone how to take their passion and turn it into a profitable, sustainable business, working from home. And so I was able to connect with her while I was still working, but I wasn't working as a manager. I stepped down and become a stylist, working less hours a week. Like I'm saying, like jumping from 80 hours, dropping down all the way to 25 hours a week. So you can imagine the pay cut that I took as stylist, we were getting paid. I was getting paid hourly plus commission. And so that was a big pay cut for me. And so I went ahead and I said the first thing I was going to do, she was recommending, she shared with me how, my coach shared with me how she made millions of dollars, and she showed me the proof, the income and all of that, how she took a book and made millions of dollars to serve people, help them reach their goals and stuff. And so I got that book and I got her program, and I'm still working with the same coach still today. And amazing. I was able to take my hairstylist income and turn it into passion. My first book was, the very first book was Hairstylist Riches. And then I started my movement around that, really helping beauty professionals take their skills and knowledge and turn it into a profitable income so that they can serve their audience at the same time as well. And then after that, I said I wanted to do more. I wanted to do more within the industry. So I got certified as a lifestyle coach, transformational lifestyle coach. And from there, I have not looked back. I've been coaching, I've been consulting within the beauty industry. I still do that, within the industry, group coaching, as well as a few VIP personal clients, as well as VIP coaching, group coaching as well. So all of my programs, all of my clients are VIPs. All of my customers are VIPs. I don't treat anyone differently because I think everyone should be treated the same. And that's just the long. Well, that's the shorter version. I know I kind of went long, but I just kind of wanted to
No, that's what I wanted.
Yeah, I wanted to give you kind of a backstory of how I got to where I'm at. And then since I've had that love for publishing, I got into publishing more and more books, teaching my clients how to do things, because I think, and it's like the number one marketing tool that differentiate everyone, like within their industry, within their niche. People always see you as an authority when you have this book, a physical book, whether it's an ebook. You can start out with an ebook, but having a physical book that they can say, hey, I read your book. It's like really exciting to me to have a physical copy as well as a e-copy of different programs and things like that. So I help people do that, and I absolutely love it, because I know that not everybody can stay behind the chair forever. As a hairstylist, right. I've had stories come in constantly. I want to retire. I don't have enough income coming in. How do I, make that transition? And it's
take it to the next level. Right.
Yeah, it's absolutely like so important to like continue utilizing your gifts to really serve more people, because a book will help you to be able to reach millions and millions of people.
It's scalable. It's scalable.
Absolutely. As well as what we're doing right here. Like I actually was able to start taking off my career like on a bigger scale, because I started interviewing people within the beauty industry, and then I started getting people from all different walks of life, men, women, from like life coaches, experts, entrepreneurs. They just absolutely wanted to come on, and so that's where we started, and it just kind of take off, because you get to hear what other people are doing to really transform people's lives at the same time. And they get to do it, and they absolutely love it. Like you and I, Dick, like everyone right. loves it.
Yeah, I totally agree. And my favorite part about, doing like these interviews with, people like you, Charlotte, is, and it might be a little bit of selfishness, but I'm not only doing it for my audience and for like my viewers and readers and stuff, but I even I sprinkle in some questions that would apply to my life and my business too.
Yes, I do that as well. I absolutely do that. It's like I learn from my guests too, and I absolutely love that. You can never learn too much.
That's right. Let's tell the audience about your radio talk show right now. I think that this is a good time, since we're already talking about it. What's it called? How can they start following you and tune in and listen to you?
Absolutely. Thank you for that, Dick. I actually started, while I was in corporate, started up with my actual show after getting my notification from my doctor. I was like, I need to still be able to connect with people, because I knew that eventually I wasn't going to be, being there. I just had it in my mind. So Success in Beauty Talk radio show is all about showcasing entrepreneurs, experts, authors, coaches. I mean, everyone that's in the industry of really being entrepreneurs, to really showcase their lessons, their life lessons, their gifts and talents, and sharing it with all of the listeners, so that they can then be able to create their dream life reach their, whether it's a personal or a professional goal. They'll be able to hear from like-minded people who have done it, who are still doing it, and who maybe even be an employee and still, transitioning into the entrepreneurship world, because I think it's important to have that. And we have different experts that are in the beauty industry as well. And so all different walks of life. I've always been fascinated with hearing how people are transitioning, how people are increasing and improving people's lives, both personally and professionally. And so I started this show to be able to do that, so that people can learn from the lessons, the experiences, and actually create that action plan that a lot of my guests come on and they share, and they get lots of my listeners like you. They also have different gifts that they get from my experts and entrepreneurs coming on. So it's like so important to be able to tune in, because a lot of people, they may not be able to afford a coach right then and there. So they get to listen like your podcast, Dick, and my podcast, and shows and things that I have, because I just absolutely think it's really awesome to be able to give back within the community like that, because you'll be able, you don't realize it, but people's lives will be changed just from listening to the value that you are actually providing. So I absolutely love it. And everybody can connect about Success and Beauty Talk radio show by going to successandbeautyradio.com. We're also right now syndicating on multiple platforms, whether it's iTunes and all the other major, podcasting directories and all that good stuff, and YouTube. And so we'll be implementing all of that as well. And so just excited to be able to share.
That's awesome. And for those of you watching, we're going to be putting a link in the description below. You can also visit all of Charlotte's social media, her websites, and her radio talk show podcast in our show notes. So if you go to onlinegrowthsystem.com/blog, you can find all the show notes for both this show and past shows. And Charlotte, I want to ask you some of the questions that I have here on my sheet. We haven't even gotten to the sheet yet, Charlotte. Okay. So, here's the first thing I want to ask you about. You mentioned that Hairstylist Riches was your first book that you had written. And actually, that's conveniently the one that I've read. That's how I first got exposed to you, is I saw somebody reading it, and I thought, oh my gosh, that'd be a good book for my girlfriend. So I actually bought it for the intention of giving it to my girlfriend, who's a cosmetologist. And I said, hey, I'm going to borrow this from you. I literally wanted to read it before she had a chance to read it. So that's how I got exposed to you for the first time. And as you know, I did a book review on it for my channel. And so it's a great book. And in my opinion, it's not just for hairstylists. It's really anyone in a service industry who wants to build a brand behind, their person-to-person services. You know what I mean? And it was just on, had like step-by-step instructions, to-dos. How, obviously we know the background of what gave you the authority and the knowledge to, but what I want to ask you is, how were you able to have your first book ever be such a success? You go from a salon manager, not really a personal brand quite yet, to writing your first book and having it be on a bestseller list.
Wow, that is a great question. And I did a lot of research that definitely helped. Doing a lot of research, on Google and asking within the field of the beauty industry what their needs are, what could I do to basically serve my audience. So I pack all of that information in. A lot of hairstylists and beauty professionals, they were stuck on leveraging social media and how to build a successful team and things like that. And so I figured I'd put it into a book and be able to share more about that as well. And so lots of research and personal experience sprinkled in there as well. And putting together a successful team of people that actually love you, friends and family that's willing to promote you on their social media, um,
Right, right. Get these
colleagues.
like natural referrals that just kind of
Yes,
got the first couple of books sold.
yes, absolutely. And also too, like you know how you and I we met online. I've been making such great friends. And so when everyone they you know I had my book and then I shared their books, it's like everybody's sharing great books together that will really help other people reach their goals. So it's important to have a team of people that are promoting you at the same time, and they know when you're actually launching the book, and and so that it can actually be a success. And you know, like I said, one of the key things is understanding what your audience needs are, because it's so key and important. And even if that means interviewing people, because I interviewed to get some of the information as well, and got permission to put it into my own words, you know.
Mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm.
it's just been that's just how I've been able to do it, and making sure that you distribute the information to the masses on
Right.
multiple publishing platforms, because it's important that you reach millions of people. You don't just want your book on one platform. You want it on all platforms. You want it in libraries and local, like everywhere that you can get it. And so
Mm-hmm.
it's important to have a team that could, you know, make that happen as well.
Right. So I know that now you own your own publishing company just because you, after so many successes of publishing your own books, you're able to help other people publish. But for that first book, did you have your publishing company? Did you set it up for that first book, or did you go through a publisher? Was it self-published and you just had to distribute from trial and error? How did that work?
Oh my gosh. So I absolutely published from trial and error. And after I did my first book, I went in immediately, and I said, I'm going to start my publishing company. And so I started from there. Actually, I had quite a bit of publishers that reached out to me to give me like $3,000 advance, $10,000 advance. And I didn't
Really?
know in the beauty industry, because they saw some of my articles that I had written about how to start your own home-based beauty salon and all of that. And they
Mm-hmm.
saw some of my other articles, and so they reached out to me. They wanted to publish my book, but I knew that with them reaching out to me, that I was on to something really, really big. And I was like, no, I turned it down because I wanted more control over the information. And I wanted to be able to impact more people at the same time. And I was brand new. I was like, I want this. This is my baby. I want to publish her. And so I just kept it. And I'm glad I did.
So Charlotte, can you tell us a little bit more about your Funnel Hacker Queen book club?
That is so funny. My one of my colleagues actually created the Hacking Queen book club, because we always love reading books like you, Dick.
Mm-hmm.
and
That's right.
and so we actually go through the books. It's a women-based group, and we go through the books and go through the lessons, lots and lots of notes. We share notes, and so that we all can implement the all of the books at the same time. And so we're both we're all of us are actually learning from Russell Brunson. And
Right.
so, as you know, with ClickFunnels, we're all like fans. You know, we are avid learners and training and all of that good stuff. So, um,
That's right.
we just wrapped up the edition. Like the first week, we always have the discussion, share notes, and all of that. And then the second week, we have homework assignments, and we actually implement the second week. And then when we come back to our next meeting, then we talk about, do like a recap. And we also give like feedback within the community, you know, with all of us, so that we all can implement effectively. Because, you know, one of the things we found is, like, when you're reading books, if you don't have like accountability, that was like the big thing, you know, having that accountability and implementation at the same time, that you can get all the books in the world, but implementing is like really important. So now with us transitioning, we're actually moving into the .com secrets and implementing that. And then we have all these other books lined up to continue implementing. And I think it's like just absolutely awesome to really create, you know, book clubs and things like that as well, because I'm actually going to be launching my Heart-Centered Publishing Queens community as well, so that we can feature different authors. And I'm definitely going to be reaching out to you, because you have such an amazing platform. So I'll be actually reaching out to you about yes, absolutely. And as well as my Hair Artists Association, because that's to the, you know, beauty industry specific. And then I have the women specific that I work with. So different communities, but overall marketing and strategy is what people really need to know. And being able to implement from all the entrepreneurs and experts that are absolutely crushing it.
Yeah, I love that.
Absolutely. So that's what it's all about.
So is there a way that the audience can like get in touch with you or join either the book club or like the Queen's Entrepreneurship Club that you're starting? Like, how can people get involved with that? Or is that like a closed group for, you know, friends, clients, stuff like that?
So actually what will happen is we'll make an announcement out in the field, that people can actually get on, you know, opt in to any of my email lists, or just, you know, connect. They can inbox to get more information as well. And we'll let them know when it actually opens up as well. Because like I said, you can buy all the books in the world, but implementation is like key. And it's just, I'm really passionate about reading and writing and all that good stuff. So that's why I wanted to do that. All of us wanted to do it. And we were like, okay, let's get going. No need to keep talking. Let's take action.
Yeah. Chapter 1, let's do it. Yeah, you don't even have to finish the book. It's sometimes, especially like Russell Brunson's books. Like, there's some books on these stacks that like the compound effect is like one subject, you know, it's one topic, versus like Russell Brunson's, like literally every chapter is something that you need to like stop, write down what he says. Like he says, you know, create your ideal customer, you know what I mean? And like actually implement like each chapter. So it really depends on the author and whichever kind of media you're consuming, podcast, book, you know, an interview like we're doing right now. So knowing that, what has been your favorite book that you've read so far to date?
Oh my gosh. I have so many favorite books, but I would have to say Expert Secrets is like at the top. And I guess because, like, you know, I can relate to all of the different struggles that he experienced. And it just helps me. It's actually going to be a requirement for my VIP. All of my customers and clients. That's going to be like a major book to actually that recommended reading, because I would actually help them implement. And that's one of the reasons why we actually created the different clubs, the book clubs and the community even, to really help people, you know, go to the next level. I mean, I've created like so many different products and programs that I haven't even released yet. And so just taking all of the information and actually packaging it up. And I know a lot of the people that are already a part of the association, and you know, and you know, even my publishing, the women clients that I'm working with that are publishing on their own, they are just, we just kept hearing constantly, we'd love for you to open up a, unique community, for us
For
to,
us.
yes. So, I mean, that's one of the reasons why I created the Hair Artists Association, but now they're going to be getting more enhanced where they'll get access to, for the beauty professionals, they're going to be getting access to the hairstylist, riches, exclusive content and things like that as well. So it's just so much more. And even with the people that I'm actually interviewing, like you, I will actually be compiling that into a book. So people are going to get they're going to get a dose of a dose of you via books, where I'll be able to expose you to millions of people, even more, and also within the exclusive members area and community, they're going to get exclusive content from the experts that I've featured. So I'll be releasing, month one, I'll have you being featured, then month two, another expert, but it's going to be like a subscription where they get tangible, they're going to get tangible, something physical.
Right. Oh, very cool. So they're gonna get like up to date, recent, like new content. So that way, if somebody joins 5-10 years from now, it's not like they're reading the same content that you produced to the group 5 years ago. Because if they're talking about Twitter, and 5-10 years from now, Twitter doesn't even exist, it's not going to be relevant anymore. You want to keep that relevancy. You want to keep that advice. Especially since like with technology, like business itself is changing so rapidly, business owners have to either adjust or die with it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, and that's absolutely what it's all about, because we want everyone to focus on their business, and then we're providing the information that they need, keeping up with the latest trends in the beauty industry, keeping up with the latest trends in the publishing industry for women specifically. It's just it's like they can focus on what they need to do, what's actually working right now, and we'll be putting the subscription together where they get physical newsletter, as well as our unique USB that will be that they can actually get exclusive content through that, as well as the members there. So they're going to have a ton of information, but not just information, but information that's actually working right now in the present. So I'm just super excited.
That is great. That is so cool. So speaking of like keeping up on the trends in publishing, my next question for you is like, how can someone take their expertise and make money with it through book publishing? And you can either use an example, like giving a story of like a successful client that you've worked with in the past, or like kind of explain to people what makes them different than everybody else that writes a book, and how can, like, for me, if I am really educated on like marketing and content, how can I take what I'm good at and put it into a book format?
Absolutely. So with a lot of my clients that I work with, I actually share with you, I have a guy client that's he recently, and this is pretty like intense with him, because he didn't have no other place to go, but he got in some trouble. He got jail time, and with you having the ability to like go out, if you've been in jail and you're trying to go out and get a job, it's like people are looking at you like, oh, I don't know if I should, let this person.
Right. Oh, it's a convict. Yeah.
Yeah. So he had nowhere to turn, and what he actually did was he started his own trucking company. His name is Kent. And Kent, I know if you're probably watching this replay, I just had to share your story because it's so inspirational. He actually started his own trucking company, and he took all of the knowledge right now that he has, and he's actually going all over the world, and he's traveling with his trucking company, but at the same time, he's his first book is actually coming out that we've actually helped him, and it's coming out July the 4th this year. And and he's actually mentoring the youth, as well as people who are right now, they're in jail, as well as those who've been in jail for different things, even being wrongfully accused for different things, as well. And he's mentoring them. And now he has all of these people that are reaching out to him, but he's packaging. I always start my clients with packaging up their knowledge in a book, because once you share your story with how you got to how your life began, and how you transitioned, and what you're doing now, and how other people can implement that, that's what you want to put in your book. And you can actually create a series, like how we're actually doing with Kent. We're actually creating a series because we all have different journeys in our life, to where we can share helpful advice and how-to information that will actually uplift and inspire others to the next level. And also, people will have the opportunity to get mentorship and coaching with Kent as well. And that's for anyone who's actually wanting to take their skills and knowledge and package it up. I always have my clients start. There are like seven types of books that have best-selling book potential, and I only have my clients actually publish those types of books, because I know that there is a 100% chance that book is going to go number one, or at least close to it. I haven't had a client that has not had their book go number one, because of what I actually, it's like, hey, choose one of these 7 and let's go ahead and start, So just excited.
Audience, like a little preview. What are some of those 7? Like, just give like a brief title. Like, what are the topics that are like the 7 most viable, best-selling books? Like, what?
Awesome. That's a great question. Like for like, say one is like an inspirational story, where like you have overcome something, whether it's traumatically, you're traumatically overcome this challenge. There are tons and tons of people that, like, online, that I thought that there weren't a ton of hairstylists, and not just hairstylists, that have had issues with carpal tunnel syndrome. And so how did I transition from that? So that's in a book, the good thing about a book is you can have a mixture of inspiration. You can have a mixture of how to make your first $100 online. That's another, because there are people that
instructional.
Yes, instructional, self-help books, healing books. Like, for instance, again, you went through something traumatic, and you're trying to give people guidance on what the next step is for them to get to the next level before actually coming to you and getting mentorship. So that could be a gold book. That could be the book that you have just written, and you want that person to buy the book. And books are like a done for you, do it yourself type of thing. You're going to do it yourself. So a lot of people, they buy books and they just implement, do it yourself. But then if you want someone to, of course, do it with you, or even have services like you have and like I have, do the done for you marketing with they can hire you to do their marketing, Dick, and but you created this book that tells them how, but then the next caveat of it is working with you.
Right, like different tiers, right?
Yes, so it's like tier levels. Definitely inspirational. Just like how I'm doing with the interviews that I will have you in, and actually packaging up. Like, I'm going out into the field, like how you're doing right now, going out into the field. You're interviewing experts. You're interviewing entrepreneurs. And you take that information, you get it transcribed, and you can have your experts actually add a bonus inside, and then what happens is you compile all of that together, and that goes out to everyone, reaching millions and millions of people. And then you can take that same information, put a snippet on your podcast, put a snippet on your YouTube. Dick, you know all of this stuff. That's why everyone hires you to do it.
I love it. No, I think what you're saying is great. And I think people who are listening to this, if they don't have like an expertise to be able to make money on, like what do they do if they say, I'm not qualified in any industry to be able to write a book on, or that people would want to hear me or hire me? Like, what do you suggest to those people?
You know, that's like the number one common questions right there that people, they're like, I don't know how to write a book. I don't know what I should write. The beautiful thing about it is you don't have to be an expert to write a book. You write the book, and then you hire the experts to edit your book, to publish your book. Even if you want to utilize a specific platform, we even help our clients publish in their own using their own company. We actually log in for them, set everything up, and you don't even have to do all of that. You don't even have to learn the information if you didn't want to. If you just said, Dick, I just want to hire you to just create a whole entire best-selling book campaign. I want you to do the sales page. I want you to do the uploading. I want you to reach out to the people to help me help this book go to number one. You don't even have to do that. You can hire us to do that. You can hire Dick to do that. Like, you know, because we partner with a lot of people that aren't specifically in the publishing industry, but they want to tap into the publishing industry, and they work with their clients. And then it's like, okay, my client is ready to move to the next phase. I'm going to hand them off because now we are part of your team. And so we work together, and it's a beautiful thing to collaborate like that.
Yeah, I agree. Like, especially when people kind of get to, well, I'm trying to say this humbly for you, but your level, like, you know, very influential. You have a following, you know, you've gotten several books that are bestsellers. I mean, when people get to your level, you start to be introduced, you get to know other people. Like, you've been on dozens of shows, including mine, and you're growing your network like that. So even if someone who's at your level doesn't know, and because it's true, not everybody knows everything about everything, right? But they know people who do know, who are the experts in that specific thing. Like, you know, whether it's, you know, you're helping someone with book publishing, or, you know, the beauty industry, and I'm doing media, you know what I mean? But we need somebody with PR, you know what I mean? And obviously you and I can both do PR, but we would talk to somebody like a guy who I've had on the interview or on the podcast in the past. His name is Dominic Lipinski. Like, he is the expert at like getting people to live events and doing like PR opportunities, right? So like, you know what I mean? Like, you and I like get to start knowing these people. So like, if you would ever do a live event, I would ever do a live event, we could talk to Dom. If either of us do a book, we would talk to you. If you guys were interested in doing like a podcast distribution, then it's when you come to me. You know what I mean? Like, when you start to get to that level, you start to meet the other experts in that specific industry. So that way, where your weakness, where your strengths aren't, you know, you have other people filling those gaps. So I think that's super cool. I totally agree with you.
Absolutely. And the beautiful thing about it is, the fact is, I wasn't even an expert when I got started with writing a book. How funny is that?
I love it. Well, who hardly is anymore? So kind of explain to us, like, so kind of like give us some backstory on that. Like, what do you mean by that?
Yes, so I totally was, I had my coach, and she was like, you need to go ahead and, you know, get your book out there, get it out. Like, don't tell me that you can't write a book, because I'm like, oh my gosh, what would I say? And I realized that it wasn't hard to do, because I'm just sharing my life experiences and my life journey. But I wanted to have someone else actually, you know, do the work for me. So I went out and I actually hired a team. And you know, to make a long story short, the team actually that I initially hired, they actually scammed me. They took $3,000 from me, and they didn't even finish my book. So I had,
no way.
my compilation. I'm in this field doing interviews with people, and it was just like a nerve. I was like forced to get out there and say, well, okay, you need to go ahead and try to figure out how you're going to get this published, because A, you don't want to lose your respect. B, you don't want to lose your credibility.
Yeah.
C, you already told your clients that you're going to have your blue book coming out.
Expect it coming out, yeah.
Yes, yes.
Look
So
for it at Barnes & Noble.
Yes, it was like, you know what? It's time to buckle up. It's time to get serious. So I went out and actually did all the research. I took course after course, and all of this, investing, all the knowledge and all this. And I'm still always learning each and every day, because I say education never stops. Like, you're always learning new things. You have to keep up with the latest trends. It's just, you just have to be knowing what's going on, so you can help your clients and your customers, reach their goals, whatever that goal is. And so it was like one of my first compilation books that happened with. And I tell you, it did go to #1, and I was so excited. I mean, if you could just see how I was just reacting, because it was like, oh my God, I did it. I say, I say it saved my life, because I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know, what am I going to do? And I was super stressed.
Was that the book Hairstylist Riches, the first one, the green covered one?
No, actually, that was one of my Success in Beauty first books for the women. But my Hairstylist Riches, I actually just, through trial and error, actually, doing research, and since I started having people reach out to me and wanted to hire me to basically write other books for them, I was like, wait a minute, I'm onto something here.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, I got to get this up. And so ever since then, I have not looked back. And so I know if I can do it, anybody can do it, because I didn't have any experience at all. I
love it. So let's kind of dive in. I want to ask you were talking a lot about like women's publishing, and you've had, you work with women. I know that you have exclusive like clubs and stuff. So I want to ask you because I have an audience that's pretty well balanced. I think we have like 45% women, 55% men. So it's just a little bit off, but I mean, it's pretty even considering most people are either one end of the spectrum or the other. So for the audience for the online growthers in my community who are women, what is something that's specific advice for them? Like, not to the men right now. Men, you can skip forward another 5 minutes past the interview, but what's something that you can tell women watching this, listening to this, seeing this on wherever it is they're consuming this content, that they can do, what women can do to kind of become better at what they do, to grow in business, and to become more influential in this digital era? How do they what's the best piece of advice you can give to women?
I would absolutely say put your guard down, because a lot of women, they still have this guard up. Like, if you collaborate with someone, that they're going to take your client. There is like millions and millions of people to actually help. So let's work together. I want to encourage you to work together. And let's make this world a better place together, not alone. You can't be a lone ranger and be influential. You have to have connections and things like that. So definitely let's work together.
I love it. So what is one way that they can work together? Like, give them like a follow-up like tactic. Do they you know what I mean?
Absolutely. So just say you are in the publishing industry, and I actually collaborate with a lot of women who are absolutely in the publishing industry, even though I'm in the industry. I know it's weird, right? But one way that we collaborate together is by sharing more expertise in a book. For instance, I have several other women who actually publish in the book, who are actually working in the beauty industry, helping the same audience that I'm helping, and they are actually in the same book as for collaboration. As well, I interview them. When they have an event, I try to attend. When I have an event, they try to attend. So collaborating, I'll refer people to them, because there's only so many people that I can actually handle my team. I actually, just yesterday, we actually brought on another 100 more people, because we are about to be launching this big movement around the heart-centered publishing queens. And so we have to have more people to be able to serve, more people at the same time as well. So if I'm good at something, like you mentioned, Dick, it's important to have, other people that may be able to help. Even you can be in the same niche and actually have a referral fee attached to it. Maybe I might refer some clients over to Sherry, because my team, we're tapped out, but at the same time, I know that Sherry is going to absolutely, treat this person, top of the line,
Like a queen.
Yeah, like a queen. Absolutely.
So it sounds like you're saying, instead of viewing whether it's other entrepreneurs, other people in business, other women, instead of viewing them as competitors, like when it comes down to like economics, you might technically be classified as competitors. You're going for the same clients, you're in the same niche, you're doing the same service products, the same kind of specialty. But there's a way that you can work together to actually grow together, whether it's being in each other's books, going to each other's conferences, referring people back and forth, because, publisher A might be a better niche, a better individual for, customer B, versus, versus, the other, right? So is that kind of what you're saying, is like using this collaborative environment for business, for women, for publishers, for experts, no matter what, just to kind of use your competitors as more of your allies, and kind of use that to build a better network and support your business, your clients, and your own brand to elevate it to the next level.
Absolutely. You just can't do this all by yourself. Mm-hmm. I don't care how much influence you have. You have to collaborate with other people. You just have to.
I love it. So the next question I have for you is, what is the best piece of, or whatever, what have you done that has educated you the most bang for your buck? And I'm not limiting it to anybody. It can be like an individual that was a mentor. It could be one book. It could be classes that you attended. Like, what is one thing that you have spent money on that you've seen, whether it's mentally or actually in your bank account, that has gotten, achieved the most growth for you?
I would have to go back to my very first journey with my mentor, Ann Sieg. She catapult, and I still mentor with her as well, but I have different mentors. Like I have Russell, I have Brendan Burchard, and different mentors for different things. But I would have to say each one of them, they're unique stories, but we all can definitely relate, because they're all taking what they've learned, their life lessons along the way, and actually help to serve their audience and provide the solutions, whether that's a sales funnel, whether that's, a book. I would say investing in her coach and her whole entire coaching program. Now she's in e-commerce, but at the time she wasn't in e-commerce. She was in network marketing, and she also leveraged off into, turning your passion into profit. So it was multiple niches that I was able to learn, from, but at the same time, you can tap into all these different niches, but you providing a solution. And like I said, it's millions and millions of people to really be able to serve and help. It's just, there's no reason to fuss over, it's not enough people. It's
right. I love that. So what's one, like, just to kind of give the audience an idea, because I have mentors, I have coaches, I have, books that I read, classes I take, like, you name it. Like, I'm always learning. Like, my own employees, we have once a week, we gather online, we all talk about what's one thing that we learned last week that we're going to apply. Kind of like what you said with your book club. It's great if you know everything, but it's what you can implement into your actual business or your life, your relationships, whatever. So I actually, it's forced, you know what I mean? On my own team, I say, what did you learn recently? What piece of content did you consume? And how can you share it with the other members of the team to exponentially grow? And what are you going to do this week to actually show me that you're using that knowledge? You know what I mean? So, and just to kind of talk about that, it's funny because you can, free content can get you so far. And then, you know what I mean? And that's where everybody should start, right? Getting, free YouTube videos, listening to podcasts like this. And then it's the next step is reading books. That's a $20 investment. And then you start taking classes. Now you're talking hundreds or thousands. Then you're talking about personal coaching, depending on how far they are in their career, right? How much further they are than you. That's going to depend in pricing too. So to kind of give the audience an idea of when you were because I just want to get this I want them to polish the little diamond that you were talking about earlier. Give them more insight to your first coach. You said your first mentor. It was Anne, right?
Yeah, Anne.
So how frequently did you meet with her? For how long? Was it an hour, 2 hours at a time over the phone? And then if you don't mind disclosing this, if it's okay, was it in the hundreds or the thousands or multiple thousands of dollars? And you know what I mean? Because I want people to realize that even though you had to invest time and money and sweat into your business, you're still identifying that as one of the best investments for your education you've ever done.
Absolutely. So first I brought her book.
See? Yeah, it's just the scale.
Yeah, so I mean, anybody could invest in a book. So because I know there are many people that are just starting out as well. So I started with the book, and then of course I got the upsell onto the program, and I invested. It was $4,997, and the reason why I invested in that is because I wanted to go to the next level as well. And then she has other different programs. If say you're someone that can't afford that, there are different programs. You want to make sure that you and this is just for everyone that's listening. You want to be able to serve people that may need a lower end, may need something on the lower end, but you're helping them to provide, for that solution until you can make enough income to invest in to your next highest level program. Then, of course, start with a book or start with a membership site that you can get the content, because you can start with, podcasting, using the free stuff, getting on that. But the thing that I found with most people, and I was like this myself, this is how I can definitely tell you, if I don't have accountability, I won't take action.
Yeah.
And so I had to learn that the hard way. It's and that goes twofold by saying, don't invest in stuff and not take action. You purchased this product, or you downloaded this free information product for a reason. And if you're not implementing it, it's kind of how are you going to get the results that you want to get, especially if it's already proven and you see all the case studies, you see all the proofs. I know people doctor things up, but just implement, at the same time. And then that way you can start getting results, because if you're not implementing, it's just, you're not going to get where you need to be. So I want to encourage, whether it's free or paid, implement.
I love it. So the next question I have for you is actually from my girlfriend herself. I remember, if I told you earlier, I don't remember if it was before we started filming or after, but I had I have a lot of hairstylists, a lot of cosmetologists in my family, so I was asking them all questions for you. And this one was primarily from my girlfriend. I kind of combined several of them from other cosmetologists, and they all had this question for you because they're followers of you. I've passed out your book to them, so they know who you are. So they actually had this question for you. I'm just going to read it off my screen here. It said, how can cosmetologists learn new skills, keep up with trends, and improve their skills without risking their clients' satisfaction? And then there's a sub-question after you answer it.
Without risking their client satisfaction, just learning. Go ahead.
Like, let's say that you learn a new way to cut hair or to style someone's hair, and it's really new. You know what I mean? You're at the edge of, you're at the beginning of a trend, right? How do you find that balance? First of all, how do you find those trends? How do you continue learning and improving your skills? How do you confront clients that are sitting in your chair and say, are you okay if I try this new style on you? You know what I mean? How do you try these new techniques, whether it's how you hold your scissors or if it's actually how they look at the end of the session, without risking them oh, I hate it. You know what I mean? It looks awful. But it's trending. Come on. You know what I mean? It'll be here in 4 months. Don't worry. You know what I mean? So where do you find the balance?
I would definitely, if you are a hairstylist, I would definitely have a VIP program that you have where your clients have access to your newsletter. That could be your signature VIP, membership. You call it membership, right? So they're opted in, but it's an exclusive VIP membership. And one of the ways that you can get people to really not really mess up the fact of them being, because a lot of clients, if you would reach out to them, they will actually be excited to try out the new latest and greatest trends, because there are a lot of clients that definitely want to keep up with the trends. Of course, you do have some clients that just want to keep the same stuff, but right. There are definitely some clients that want to keep up with the latest trends. So just make sure that you have people opt in, whether you have them fill out this form so that you can connect with them and tell them that you want to tell them about all the perks that they're going to get because they're signing up and getting your free exclusive membership. It's a great way to keep clients loyalty, customer loyalty, client loyalty by having that.
You're constantly improving and finding out so that they can share them. I like that.
Absolutely. So, and keeping up with the latest trends, of course, the different magazines, Salon Magazine, Modern Salon, all of these different magazines, and being a part of the Hair Artists Association, we reveal different trends of what's going on, tuning into our show as well. So you'll know the latest trends because we actually have different experts out in the field from London and England and, just all the US, because a lot of people, they're still stuck just on the US, and you need to have people out in all, beauty is universal. Right. You need to keep up with all the different trends. So that's why we go out in the field and pick and choose different experts to feature so that we can know what's the latest and greatest trends. And then also being able to see it via whether we go live in the salon with them and film. So that's just some of the, exclusive content that, that people actually absolutely need to really keep abreast of what's going on. There are different communities, and I can definitely recommend, like hairdressers advice, and because I'm in the industry, and I'm reaching out to different experts that I know that are legitimate and that helps me keep up with the latest trends. And so I want to recommend, just staying connected so that you can definitely know what the latest and greatest trends are. And that way, you won't, hinder the fact of, losing a client or a customer because they're not satisfied. And I would also encourage that client seeing some ideas and just letting them pick and choose one of the trends that you want to try on them.
Sure.
As well.
I love that.
We talked about personality, the personality side of it earlier in the other, episodes. So definitely, listen to what we were sharing with that as well, and actually implement it, because it's really important to do that. And a lot of clients and potential prospects, they like to see the different types of trending styles, and they're like taking it to the stylist and say, hey, I want this look. And then you can, just do an evaluation, a consultation with them, and just kind of see how that will work best for you, because that's you just want them to be happy, and so
satisfied, a satisfied
yes.
customer, right? Because you want them to come back and you want them to talk good things about you, like we talked about earlier.
Absolutely. So that's what I would definitely encourage you to do.
I love it. So here is the last thing, is how people, if they're listening to this, watching this, reading this, how can they get in touch with you? Or what's like one call to action that you want people to do?
That one call to action is implement all of this information that we just shared with you. You can. So
if you're not a cosmetologist, you have to become one so you can apply everything we talked about.
Absolutely. And I know that we haven't scratched all of the surface, like you mentioned in the book, Hairstyle is Riches. It's so much. It's like so much information just to, being able to see
if I have your book in the stack. I think I have somebody reading it right now. Like I'm serious. Like I literally like lend your book to people. So I think
thank you
right now, but shoot.
Yes, they definitely, if they get the book and implement everything that's in there, they will definitely start building a following and influence and really get more clients and customers and referrals, because people will see your work and all of that stuff as well. So you can definitely reach me at thehailartistassociation.org or heartcenteredwomenpublishing.com.
Awesome. And we will have the links to Hairstyle is Riches, to Charlotte's social media, and to both websites that you just mentioned in the description below. If you're watching this on video, if you're hearing this on a podcast, make sure you go to onlinegrowthsystems.com/blog, and you can find the show notes for this interview, where you can find everything we've talked about. If it was an individual, a book, another video we mentioned, literally every resource that we discussed here on the show in this interview will be listed on the show notes. So Charlotte, I want to thank you for coming on the show. It was a privilege, and I hope we'll have to do it again sometime.
Absolutely. You're stuck with me.
That's okay. I'm okay with that.
I come from a town where most of the people are so close-minded. They go into school and they work in a job, but they don't even like it. I won't be put in a box. Nobody telling me what I should rock. Nobody telling me what I should drop, cause I do what I want and just know I don't stop. Recording till 4 in the morning, they snoring. I'm pouring my soul into every story. I'm writing, producing, I mix it, I master, I'm building my craft, and I'm not looking back. I've been going doing things I want to do when I want to.